All right, this is the Conspiracy Broadcasting Network, also known as the CBN, vlog 118. As the title shows, we're talking about a game that is, I believe, published and developed by Blizzard. And I'm going to show you how they're infiltrating my server and they're using people's names and always inundating you with problems such as faulty glitches all the time, where you paid a small little like dollar here, dollar there, chunk of money, and then you went to make a purchase, and then that purchase doesn't come through. Okay. Or you found a particular item, and in real time, that item will just vanish, right? And the item will always be something that is of great find, like a great find, right? And it'll have great attributes. It'll have everything you're looking for, like a crit hit, like crit hit chance or something. A couple with other attributes. You find it, you go to pocket it, and then you go travel and go maybe put it in your stash or something, disappears, gone. Okay. There's all kinds of things, but we're going to specifically talk about, because what I want to show is always objectifiable. I want to show what's actually going on. You can go back to vlog 114, and in one of the series, I show you how Blizzard Entertainment got a hold of me and gave me a suspension. Okay, first time giving me a suspension on my account for not meeting the terms of service and agreement. I asked in reply during the appeal, what specifically did I do? They had no reply. They couldn't tell me specifically what I did, other than it was just a violation of terms and this and that. But they didn't tell me specifically what I did, but they were accusing me of hacking and botting, which I've never done before. Excuse me. Which I've never done before. And I asked them, what specifically did I do? The hacking and botting. I don't do any of that. I've never done any of that before in my life. As an adult, I should say. When I was a kid, I used like Super Nintendo and stuff, and I was introduced to, by my friends, technically, I was introduced to all the cheat codes for Mortal Kombat's fatalities and things like that. And then I carried it on as a young teenager, like 13, 14. And then I never really did it again. Turok, I actually got introduced by cheat codes in Turok by one of my cousins back when I was like 8, 9 years old, right? 8, 9, 10, 11 years old. So anyways, I never done anything like that regarding hacking, botting, and I've always complained about it, matter of fact. And I've always put this on my vlog that's been going on for over a decade now. So let's do a screen share on exactly what I'm trying to address on this particular vlog. I'm keeping my vlogs and my videos short so that I can get more detail and make a little bit more sustenance out of it, and actually put the objectifiable information out there. So I'm going to do a screen share here. Okay, so this is the screen here, and what they're doing is they're bringing these people around in the server, and your server is always inundated with semantics and people's names or clan names that are there to target your visual field, right? And if you're doing something in the house, they'll start putting things in the chat. If you spilled a drink in the house, then the chat will start lighting up about drinks, okay? If you went to go pop some popcorn, then the chat will have something pertinent to that. Someone will type in there, let me turn the stove off. I forgot to turn the stove off. Something always is going to populate. And in this case, this is always targeting the fact that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do as a responsible gamer on a public server. And yet you have these people right here with these names like this, Coochie Slayer. And then you have his name in this case, should be working. And in this case, I have been unemployed for well over, technically since yesterday, I relinquished, but full-time, part-time, it's been a couple months. And this particular guy's tag hasn't ever populated before in any of my servers, except until the point right now where I'm not working. And so this is what they're doing, is they're targeting your privacy, number one, and they're using the server to attack you. Okay, and it gets better than this. And you see down here it says FK Russ, right? And I talked about this, I believe, in another video, but for kayak fishing purposes, it's awfully strange that that would almost look like fuck Russ, right? Using some profanity. And so it's just an inundation of how can we put terms and phrases in front of him that are always going to disturb, or always there to elicit some type of deflection or elicit some type of thought. And that's how this works, is they inundate your server with problems and with people in order to cause mental entropy, right? And so they're using this guy who's targeting another guy that I know in kayak fishing. They're targeting this right here, knowing that one of their running blackmailing techniques is using STDs, right? HPV. Okay. And so they're going to run with this. And my neighbor is trying to say that they know what I do. And so they're trying to literally throw you under the bus after they've spent years always connecting you with women and nurses with some type of heebie-jeebie. Okay. That's how this works. It doesn't matter if it was a one-night stand or if it was a full-blown connection for years, that female would have passed something on to you, because every female that you've always been in contact with has always been cheated on. And it's just nonstop fucking carnival of running this narrative on you at all times. It's never let go. Okay. Always and forever, always running a narrative on you, always have these women in competition and emasculating you. That's the other side of the story, is not only are they there to burden you with this, but they're also there to emasculate you and beat you down into oppression while they burden you with the problem. Okay. So I'm going to continue here and you're going to see me write. Okay. I'm pointing some stuff out and I'm talking, but what I'm getting ready to show you is, here's the double standard. Okay. Here's the double standard here. I'm looking up some names, and now right here, you see on the bottom left, I'm going to start doing an experiment. I'm experimenting on why it is that this person is allowed to use the term coochie, right? Why is this person allowed to use that language? Because I remember I typed in one time the term circumstance right here. And you're going to see me type this in. I'm doing a field test, and I'm going to hit enter and watch what happens. Language not permitted. So I literally typed that in, and it said language not permitted. So I backspaced, I hit enter again, and it says language not permitted. Okay. Circumstances. So now I'm changing it up, and I'm going to run a full-blown test here, a field test, to see what's actually going on with their flagging system. Okay. And I'm thinking it's just a glitch. So here I'm putting in the term. The term here that it's flagging is circumstances. And it's saying that the language is not permitted. Okay. So I'm going to continue to toggle the chat window right here on the bottom left. And I put in here coochie. Okay. And then I looked up some other words that I wanted to test out. And come to find out, the term circumstances is language that's not permitted. And so you see how they toy with you. And what they'll do is they'll send you violations. And it's just like in physician assistant school, right? They're going to run and allow everybody else to do whatever they do. And then when you're doing what you're supposed to do, they're going to use defamation and slander on you, right? And then you got to go answer to something that's not true. Whether it be like you're on your phone when you're not. And this is how they're destroying your mind and always causing a disconnect and divergence. And they're just breaking your peace. You're here to just depress. You can't have a solid mental state and depressed when you have this shit going on. And all you did in here was type the term circumstance. That's it. And it says you're not allowed to use that term. But this guy is allowed to use this. And at the same time, they're going to inundate you with FK Russ, which, you know, I don't want to get into anything, but it's interesting that this guy would dominate this, the field in one of my other hobbies. And then you'd have this come up. It's not a coincidence anymore. It's just stalking. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit, and I'm going to put in here some other videos. Okay. So what I did was later I typed in on the next video. Let's go ahead and back out of this. Okay. Because I did 2 videos. That's weird. It was 5 minutes and it didn't do it. So what I ended up doing was I ended up putting in other terms like penis and vagina. And when I put in penis, they allowed that to go through. When I put in vagina, they said language not allowed. So I don't use those terms in the game, but what I'm getting at is you see right there that there is a faulty system by using words as simple as circumstances. Okay? And they're willing to flag somebody, not that that happened or not that it was flagged. But what I'm getting at is it's saying that there's an issue with that particular term. Circumstances. All right? So they start playing mind games like that. Okay? That's the type of mind games that they've been playing. Also, in the game, I took all the hair off my guy's head and made him bald. Come to find out, like 3-4 days later, I believe it was yesterday, I log back on, and now there's all his hair and dreadlocks on him with a mustache. Okay? So all kinds of stuff going on there in the game. And it just goes to show that you can't even just go and have a peace of mind in a server. And this is just the evidence that I'm trying to reflect that's going on in other games like first-person shooters. Might be Apex, might be Call of Duty, it might be Battlefield, that I know that I'm being aimbotted. I know they're using gridlock because these people are always tracking where my character is located, and then they'll have these guys run through with all this inappropriate terminology. Okay? But when you are trying to type and you type just regular words, they'll start throwing these flags up. And they'll harass you that way. That's the type of harassment. Like we can do what we want to do. Okay, we can do inappropriate things, and you are going to get flagged and harassed by just doing simple things. That's how this works. And that's how the campaign has been going, is we're going to target everything you like, all your interests, all your things that you spend on your downtime. We're going to target that. You're trying to write a report, you're trying to do research in master's program, in a graduate program. Okay, we're going to stalk your research and we're going to start destroying your research. That's what they did. Okay. Oh, you're going to do a court, you're going to do a litigation. And so they start tapping all of your electronics and removing all of your evidence for litigation. All the evidence for the 41-page lawsuit that I filed last year, all the evidence for AMR, all the evidence for anything that I've done with defamation, including other ambulance services and including schools. Okay? They went through and made sure to delete that information. And this is what I'm talking about, the cyber control and the cyber hacking, when I'm taking tests and subverting those tests, throwing up black boxes after my arrest, months, a week to a couple months, a few months after my arrest, making these black boxes appear during examination. And the list goes on. Okay, the list goes on. This is one I believe 8. Yeah, 118 of the CBN.